Carlos, is it true this is your first feature film?
Yes.
How long in the making was this for you? How long did it take you to? I'm sorry, how long did it take you to get this film together?
It took me 2 years to write it, 1.5 years, and then maybe 2 years to find the production, and then 2 months of shooting, and then the post-production. Well, 5 years in, yeah, which is quite not a long time for a feature. Yeah.
One of the things I like about the movie is you allow us to really decide what happens after the final scene. I mean, as the filmmaker, do you have a clear notion, or is it is ambiguous to you as it is to us as far as what happens to her?
Honestly, there were different endings for this film during the writing process. Our translator, thank you, but I can manage for the moment. And then after when we began shooting, I was even thinking of doing 2 endings. But then, honestly, I don't know what happens to this woman. I don't know her, so I don't know what happens to her, why she do what she does. I have my ideas, but I don't know if she commits suicide, if she leaves to another country or to Beirut, to her sister. I don't know, but it's not important. Everyone can decide what he wants, what he likes to imagine for this woman.
I like that you give us that room. We're often so used to Hollywood films where everything has to be spelled out or tied up with a bow that I appreciate that you respect us enough to let us decide.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Now, a good chunk of this film rests on Charles. I mean, how long did it take you to find that young boy?
It was a beautiful surprise, this young boy, because I have seen maybe, I don't know, maybe 70 young boys, very nice, and no one, really, honestly, no one was, I could imagine no small boy that could play this part. And then one day, my Lebanese producer, was buying bread in this village we were shooting, and she calls me and she told me, I have seen a young boy called Antoine. Maybe you should see him. And I saw him, and it was really, this young boy is absolutely, he's an actor. He really is an actor. He was the easiest one to direct on the stage. Yeah, really, because he understood all what I asked him, and he trusted me so much that he really did everything I asked him without never arguing. Sometimes he was unhappy to do what I asked him, and sometimes he even cried because he didn't want to, he was tired, and he didn't want to do what I asked him. But he never argued, and sometimes he one or two times he left the stage after the shooting. He never argued on the shooting or something. One day he left the stage and he was so unhappy, and I couldn't understand why. And I wanted to talk to him, and he didn't look at me. He didn't want to talk to me. It lasted for 6 hours. And then I was so worried about this young boy. And I asked my producer, and I told him, please, Sabine, go talk to him. And she went to talk to him. And he told her that he was very angry and very sad because he knew that the next day there will be the shooting of the sequence between his mother and his father, the scene where he slaps her. And he was so worried that she would be hurt, said he hated me. And so I had to explain to him with the first assistant and show him how slap is done in the cinema. And when we showed him, it was done. It was over. He was happy again, and everything was fine.
And he clearly worked very well with the adult actors.
Yeah, he is an actor. Really, he was very happy. After each shooting, we ended the sequence, and afterwards he went to play with his I don't know what we call this game. Yeah, his video game. He was very quiet. It was okay for him. After I was a bit worried because he's only 8 years old, and I spoke with his parents, with his father, and I said, please take care of him. Maybe because he loved these three women, his mother and his aunts. He was so fond of them that when we ended the shooting, he was crying. He was crying just because he was so sad to leave them. And we always had to explain to him that this is cinema and he will see them. But he never acted like, he is different or he is more important because he's an actor or something. He's a wonderful young boy, really.
I wonder if he'll continue acting.
No idea.
This film shows us a group of people who are happy and living a good life, but they're surrounded by problems, political problems that are encircling them and closing in on them. What happened to families like this one in the years after the time of this story?
After 58, there was the golden age of Lebanon began. It lasted maybe 15 years. And these kind of families, if they succeeded, it was a beautiful country for them. But unfortunately, 15 years after, the war began, so it didn't last long. And the war is still going on.
There were times watching it a second time where I thought of that film, The Garden of the Finzi Continis, where you see a wealthy Italian family that is slowly being impacted by the troubles around them.
Thank you for saying that. Did we talk about this before, you and I?
No.
Interesting, because The Garden of the Finzi Contini is the only film that I talked about to my director of photography. It was really, honestly, the only film that inspired me deeply. And when I talked with Thomas, I don't know how you call the cameraman, and about how I wanted to shoot the valley, I always told him, my valley is the garden of Finzi Contini. Yeah, and this end of this word is the end of the word of Finzi Contini. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that someone could have this.
Especially watching it tonight, I thought of that film because there's the beauty of what the family is experiencing, and yet the knowledge that this is coming to an end. Yeah, which makes it very, very poignant. What about how tough was it to get one of the greatest actresses in France, Nathalie Baye, to be in the film?
You know, we met Natalie here in Greenwich during the. Sorry?
Yeah, she was guest of honor.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. I met her here. I had a movie, and she was president of honor of the festival, maybe 10 years ago, 8 years ago, I don't remember. And I met her here. And since then, we had a nice relationship. She is a good friend of mine and of my sister and my brother-in-law. And she came to Lebanon twice or three times. And I wanted that the actress, the French actress, who would say in this film, "Oh, how Lebanon is beautiful." I wanted this actress to be more than a French woman. I wanted, like, if the cinema would say how beautiful Lebanon is. And no one besides Nathalie Baye or maybe Catherine Deneuve today has this strong aura and image of the cinema. She is the French cinema, Nathalie. So I'm very lucky she accepted this small part. Really, she honored me. And she loves the movie. She really loves it.
Any questions from the audience? I don't want to. Okay.
Hi, just a quick question. Is that the Kadisha Valley?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Another question?
Hi, can you talk a little bit about the casting process? Was it mostly done in Paris or mostly in Lebanon? And how was it to translate that, to shoot on site and bring a whole crew out to the village?
The casting was done mainly in Lebanon. It took 2 months to find all the actors. And I didn't understand the second part of your question.
How was it to shoot on site in the village?
It was,
What did it take and what was the process like?
we stayed there for 5 weeks. For the shooting lasted maybe 7 weeks, and we stayed 5 weeks in one village in this holy valley, Kadisha Valley, and 2 weeks in another region of Lebanon where there is the house of the family of Laila, this beautiful house. It's another part of Lebanon. So it was maybe easier for us to stay in these villages because we didn't have to do the travel between Beirut, and there was no gas, no electricity. It was really a miraculous shooting. Yeah.
Question?
So I have a couple actually. Sorry.
Why? Because I grew in this part of Lebanon. I know this part of Lebanon. I cannot talk of things I don't know. We used to spend all our summers in this valley. My grandparents were like the father and the mother of Layla. My grandfather was a broken aristocrat. He didn't have money, so he had 3 daughters, and the goal was to marry them. But he was a wonderful man. I'm not criticizing anyone here. It's just the story of this country. Yeah, it's cultural.
Question?
Can you hear me okay? No, okay, okay. That's easier.
Show like maybe like a small part of Beirut in the movie. So this way people can see Lebanon, not just in the valley, but it's part of, Beirut as just, as an opinion.
Yes, maybe.
Because if we only saw the valley, we didn't see Beirut, so.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm right here. So I have two questions.
Yes,
Sorry.
please.
Can you see me okay? So the first one is there are so many problems happening in Lebanon right now. And there's a lot going on. And I think partly why we could need to raise some awareness about it. So why did you specifically choose this story? Was it because your story, something that you will relate to the most? And second, what angle did you try to kind of project the most? Was it the sectarism that's going on in Lebanon? Was it the war and what we've been through? Was it the woman angle? Because there's a lot of it that comes out of it, which is really nice. But what was pretty much your angle? What were you trying to project within it?
Yeah. I am not doing a documentary. I'm just trying to share with the people who would like to see what is haunting me. This is my way to do films till now. So I have absolutely not the pretension to show Lebanon. I'm not showing Lebanon. What I'm showing is something from my imaginary, something of my view on my country and on the Lebanese people. And for me, taking this distance, yeah, you are definitely right when you say there are so many issues in Lebanon, and we would love to talk about all of them. But I believe that if you talk about a very small a part of a country, you know the cinema of Kiarostami, for example, this wonderful Iranian, I'm not comparing myself to him, absolutely not, really. He only shoots in small villages, small stories where nothing happens. Chekhov, who is an author I love, and I'm deeply inspired by Chekhov too, Three Sisters, the Cherry Orchard. He talks about stories that happen in a small part, in a house, small part, or just to tell us about Russia, about history. And if I have a pretension is to talk about my country, about Lebanon, by this small story that's happening in this small village, taking the big distance in history and show those who are interested my vision in Lebanon 58. I don't think many people know that the first American, I don't know how you call it, landing, thank you, was in Beirut in 58. The dream that this country was for the Lebanese, the Christian and the Muslims already were, it was a crisis already. When this country was built, it was built on a very moving basis. So I'm interested in talking about this. I think on the TV, you have a lot of, when they talk about Lebanon now, they don't talk much because there are so many more dramas in the world. You have all these informations. You don't need me to show, you don't need me to show Beirut, or you know Beirut, no, yeah? Yeah, still.
Hi, I have a question. About your ending again, or about the story, back to the story. It seems to me it's a very contemporary ending, and I'm wondering if in the time period of the movie, would it not have been very unusual for a woman to be able to leave, and most women, probably almost all of them, would have probably just stayed?
You are right. That's why Layla is a heroine. She is, you say heroine? Yeah, that's why she is a heroine. Yeah, you know Madame Bovary, when Flaubert wrote Madame Bovary, she left everything and she died. So I'm not sure it's that contemporary. I'm not sure. But what the difference, where you are definitely right, is in 58, a woman who does what Layla did, really, there is no hope, or very small hope for her. No place to go. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Question.
Oh, hi. Could you comment on the themes of religion and the use of religious statues and artifacts? I found that really fascinating.
Yeah, because this valley is called the Holy Valley, and we are in a very Christian part of Lebanon, with archaic beliefs, and really every summer, I don't know, maybe not every summer, but when I was a young boy, I do remember there always were miracles. It was very normal.
Question.
Folks, please wait for the microphone to come to you. Thank you.
Could you speak to the magnificent soundtrack that you had? Maybe who the composer was, how you found him, and who the cellist was? It was just magnificent.
Yeah, thank you. I totally agree with you. I love it. Antonin Tardy is a very young composer. You know, I had to change 3 times the composers. It's very difficult because as I am not a musician, I don't have the language to share with the person who is composing the music. So I couldn't really find the good words with the 2 first musicians I was working with. And Antonin, who was the youngest, who has the less experience, he understood immediately what I wanted. Because from the beginning, I told him, I don't want a music that decorates the film. I don't want a music that illustrates. I don't want a music that will tell the public what to think. I want a music that comes with another layer to tell this story. And he is really wonderful because I love what he did. He is called Antonin Tardy. He is a really young but very, very promising musician. Yeah, thank you for this.
So first of all, thank you. The film was brilliant and captured a lot of emotion. You mentioned a lot of similarities in your own family. You said your father or grandfather had 3 daughters. Was this somewhat biographical? Was it sort of telling the story of your own family or no?
No, I wouldn't say this. It's not biographical. It is, no, but you know, I had a grandfather, a grandmother. She was called Eugenie. My father is called Boutros. I had 3, a mother and 2 aunts. But no, my mother didn't leave me for French, and I didn't run and call her in the wedding party of my aunt. But still, it is autobiographical in a way that all these people that you have seen in my film, I know them all. I love them all. So it is really, when I see the film, it's like if I'm talking about myself and my family, even if it's a different, I would call it, it's a fiction autobiography. Yeah. Welcome.
Hello. So first, I want to appreciate the movie that we've seen tonight. It was very well made in cinematic excellence, both in theme, in directorship, in cinematography. There were many, many excellent elements in it. So I want to recognize that.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much.
Second, what I noticed in the movie was, in the film, we could see the larger Lebanon with its history, its people, its religions. We see all of the elements of Lebanon, right? The news, the people, the way they talk to each other, the way they meet each other, the way they have lunch, or walk around the village or go to a secluded place. All of these are very real elements of what life in Lebanon is like. And you gather international influence, village life, and broader international conflicts. Lebanese people are accustomed to this. And your film brought that to the forefront, but it also showed the life in the village and the life of this family like an oasis. So it was a very small village in the mountains, secluded from Beirut, from what others might know as to be as Lebanon. But life in this village is what you portrayed was the Lebanon of my parents, the Lebanon of my grandparents. And in the three girls, I could see myself and my sisters. Perhaps we are more independent now, but I can see how we started to become that way. It was not always like this. So this resonates very clearly within our own experience. And my question is, what makes you want to portray that element specifically? Is it that you see Lebanon is changing? Is it that you want to highlight a certain theme?
I wanted my first impulsion, my first desire when I began to write this script is this strong and very complex, beautiful and very harmful and very ugly. What is the relationship between a young boy and his mother? This was the heart of my script, and this was what interested me at the beginning, before portraying a society and in Lebanon in the '58. So I don't know if this answers your question. Yeah.
Here on the right.
First of all, congratulations. It's
Thank you.
magnificent.
Thank you.
And it was just beautiful to see the beauty of Lebanon, the beautiful sceneries that you showed us, the mountains, the virgin, the cedars, the desert-like, landscape. So the beauty, the constant beauty of Lebanon, contrasting with the deeply troubled people. And I see this continuing from 1958 to 2023. Same thing, beauty of Lebanon, culture problems, people problems, religious problems, layers of problems over problems. And it was just something I felt when, with your movie.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. But the beauty of Lebanon is vanishing too. Yeah. Yeah, things don't change that much, I think, in life, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not a desert. It's, it's the road that goes from, it is a desertic landscape. It's the road that goes from the cedar forest to the Bekaa. Yes. Yes, we see the Bekaa at the end, just when she drives before turning
Over here.
I wonder, is this film going to be distributed to cinemas throughout the U.S., and what's your next project?
I don't know yet. If we still don't have an American distributor, but this film is just, it will be released in France in 1 month, in Lebanon in 1 month too. So the film is very new. I hope if that by chance, if I found a distributor, I would be really happy that this film will be shown in the States. My next feature I'm working on now is very different from this one. It happens today. In a city in Lebanon called Tripoli in the north. I stay in the north where I grew. And it's a political thriller in Lebanon today. Very different from what you see. Yeah. The lost paradise is definitely lost. So now we pass to another thing.
Here on the right.
Absolutely beautiful movie. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I had a question. You described the movie as a story between this boy and his mom, which is really fascinating to me, as so many of the themes about the women and the role in their family resonated. There's one scene where the boy is emboldened and speaks back to his mother and says, "I'm going to tell Baba." Can you share a little bit more about that theme and what you were trying to share with the audience?
I think that young boys or young girls, sons or daughters, understand everything what is happening inside the soul or of their parents. They feel everything, but unfortunately for them, they don't have the words they can put on what is going on. So they just feel, they know, but there are no words. So it can ruin their life forever. So what is happening for this young Charles? He is in this Oriental culture, a woman, when she has a young boy, she is considered as accomplished. She is full. And the society and the family and the father and the husband, they leave her boy. She can do whatever she wants with her boy. It's as if they pay her back all what she has to do for them. The father marries his daughter. The husband decides what his wife can do or what can do. And later on, the son decides what his mother can do or cannot do. So during this period of childhood, the woman with her boy, they are one single body, if I may say. So I don't know what I was trying to tell you. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Over
But
here.
you understood maybe what I meant.
One or two more questions?
I have a question. Beautiful movie, by the way, beautiful.
Thank you.
The question is, it's your first time you direct a movie. You mentioned that, and you wrote the movie. So is that something that you plan to do in the future? You only would direct your own written?
It's not my first movie, it's my first feature.
Oh, feature.
I have already done 3 movies, which I call my family trilogy. Trilogie familiale. Yeah, family trilogy. A film about the father called The North Road, which was shown in the festival here. A film about the mother, which was called Chekhov in Beirut. And the film about the young boy, which was called The Son's Gambler. So it's not my first film, but it's my first feature. And now, of course, I would love to continue if ever I can. If, doing features is very, very difficult. You have to cost a lot of money. Yeah. It's always a miracle, honestly, especially these kinds of films, intimate, not very, I don't know. But I'm an actor. I love to play too. So it's no. I'm not deciding to quit everything to direct movies. But that's what I prefer. Yeah.
Over here.
Yes, and I acted in the movie. Yeah. There's nothing much to say, honestly, because this part of the priest, the hermit. We say hermit, l'ermite. The hermit. Yes, the hermit. Thank you. This part was there was a real priest who was supposed to play this part, and he was so much engaged in the part that I couldn't explain to him that it was just a role. He wanted, no, honestly, he wanted, because when we were rehearsing, and Nathalie Baye was not already in Lebanon, and I was really, anxious. The Lebanese, what was happening in Lebanon, Nathalie Baye to stay in Lebanon for 3 weeks. I was really anxious for her and worried. And he had plans for this sequence. He wanted, for him, he had this mission to let this French woman who comes to Lebanon leave Lebanon with faith. And I tried, honestly, and I tried to explain to him. I said, no, Father, it's not the movie. You just have to say these 3 sentences I wrote. And he was arguing so much that it was really hurtful for me, and he was devastated. And I had to take this decision to play this part myself. But I didn't write it for me.
So I just want to congratulate you on I'm Lebanese American. I've been to the Kadisha Valley a number of times, on capturing the spirit of the Lebanese and that incredibly holy valley where you can see above you and below you. My question for you is, there's no such thing as a Christian Lebanese who hasn't thought about leaving, right? And many of them have left. Did it occur to you, or has occurred to me here, that when Layla is driving in the car, she is essentially all of Lebanon, or all of the Lebanese Christians? And they're always saying, do I stay, do I go? The devotion to family is so powerful, the devotion to faith is so powerful, that in some ways that we can only imagine. But they're always in that conundrum of, do I stay or do I go, just like she was.
Yeah, you are totally right. I wouldn't say she is metaphorical for the Christian. I would say she is Lebanon, like this young boy is the young Lebanon. There is no escape. There is something like we say, this maktub, or it's our destiny. It's like if there is no escape for this poor country. That's what I'm unfortunately think tonight. Maybe tomorrow I will change my mind, I hope.
One more question.
Last question here.
I think the gentleman actually answered it for me from the last question, but I was just wondering, it's 2023. Where is this family now? Where would this family be now?
Well, I would say you have maybe Charles here sitting at my place. You have another sister, maybe Carmen, who is sitting behind you. The others are all buried in Lebanon or in France or somewhere. It's gone. It's it's over. This is finished, which doesn't mean everything is finished, but this is finished.
Please join me in thanking Carlos.
Thank you so much.